It was a moment that stunned fans of Gold Rush around the world. When Chris Dumit quietly announced that he was stepping away, the reaction was disbelief. After years of loyalty, record-breaking seasons, and unwavering dedication, one of the most respected figures in modern gold mining was suddenly gone. Viewers were told it was simple burnout after chasing Parker Schnabel's massive 10,000-ounce gold goal. But that explanation only scratched the surface. The real reason behind Chris Dumit's departure runs far deeper. The 10,000-ounce goal was not just ambitious, it was historic. That amount of gold weighs more than 600 pounds and is worth nearly $20 million. To Parker Schnabel, it was the next logical step in his relentless rise. To the crew, it was a season-defining gamble. And to Chris Dumit, it became an unbearable burden. Achieving a goal that massive required pushing every system to its limit, especially the most critical and delicate part of the entire operation, the gold room. While massive machines moved thousands of tons of dirt, the success of the season depended on the tiniest flakes of gold captured at the end of the process. That responsibility belonged solely to Chris Dumit. Normally, managing cleanup from one wash plant is exhausting and demands absolute precision. This season, Parker Schnabel made the bold decision to run 3 wash plants simultaneously: Big Red, Roxanne, and Lucifer. Every ounce from all 3 plants flowed into the hands of one man. The workload went from difficult to punishing. After grueling 12-hour shifts, Chris Dumit still had to carefully clean sluice boxes from 3 massive systems, knowing that a single mistake could cost thousands of dollars. This wasn't physical labor alone, it was mental pressure without pause. As the oldest core member of the crew, the non-stop grind began to take a visible toll. For the first time in his long career, Chris Dumit admitted something had to change. The crew was already stretched thin. There was no one available to pull from heavy equipment without risking production. Faced with an impossible situation, Chris Dumit suggested bringing in Tatiana Costa, one of the crew's most skilled operators, to help in the gold room. It was a desperate move. Removing a top operator from the field was controversial, and she had no experience in gold recovery. Still, Parker Schnabel agreed. Losing Chris Dumit entirely would have been catastrophic. But by the time help arrived, the damage had already been done. To Chris Dumit, the message was clear. Support only came when the season itself was at risk. What viewers didn't see was that this breakdown wasn't just about exhaustion. It was about value, respect, and a growing clash of priorities. To understand that clash, you have to understand Parker Schnabel. Raised in Haines, Alaska, Parker Schnabel grew up inside a gold mine run by his grandfather, John Schnabel. By the age of 16, he was already leading grown men and running real operations. When he joined Gold Rush, he wasn't just a teenager on television, he was a prodigy. Leaving the family mine to start his own operation in the Yukon was a massive risk, but it paid off. His gold totals exploded year after year, turning him into one of the most successful miners in the show's history. But Parker Schnabel's greatest strength is also his greatest weakness. For him, success is never enough. Every record becomes the new baseline. That relentless ambition cost him relationships, including his breakup with Ashley Ewell, and created an environment of constant pressure. The 10,000-ounce goal wasn't celebration-worthy to Parker. It was simply expected. This is where Chris Dumit stood apart. He didn't begin as a miner. He started as a carpenter, building cabins for Todd Hoffman's crew in the early seasons of Gold Rush. Over time, he discovered a natural talent for mining and eventually joined Parker Schnabel's team in Season 4. From that point on, production skyrocketed. Season after season, gold totals climbed. 2,500 ounces, 4,300 ounces, then over 7,000 ounces. Those numbers didn't happen by accident. They happened because Chris Dumit
mastered the gold room. But his value went far beyond gold totals. Chris Dumit was the emotional anchor of the crew. In an industry defined by stress, breakdowns, and brutal conditions, he brought calm, humor, and balance. When tensions rose, he steadied them. When Parker Schnabel pushed too hard, Chris pushed back, respectfully. He wasn't just an employee, he was a cornerstone of the entire operation. That's why his departure mattered so much. This wasn't about age or fatigue alone. It was about years of accumulated pressure and the realization that the pursuit of gold had begun to outweigh the value of people. After helping generate hundreds of millions of dollars, Chris Dumit still found himself forced to justify his physical limits. For someone who believed in loyalty and mutual respect, that was the breaking point. In the end, Chris Dumit didn't leave in anger. He left with clarity. He had already built the empire. He had already proven his worth. Walking away wasn't quitting. It was choosing peace over chaos. While Parker Schnabel continues chasing ever higher peaks, Chris Dumit chose to step aside before the mountain consumed him.